today. I want to talk about this Woody Harrelson monologue. So today's Tuesday, the 28th February, 2023. He went on Saturday Night Live a few days ago. So, what? The 25th, Saturday, the 25th of February. So, at this point, I really don't follow the news very much. I scan some headlines, and to me, it's like the same shit going on. So I don't immerse myself in the details because it's meant to invoke emotional reactions in you and get you worked up. So I scan the headlines. I don't really read the articles. And then, pop culture has been, I think, a wasteland since, the early 2000s, since about 9/11 time. So I don't follow it, and Saturday Night Live has been like a total garbage dump since around then. It's the lamest show, and it's like part of the propaganda ministry. And I was gonna say like part of like the left's propaganda ministry, but all of our politics are left. I mean, even the so-called conservatives in the whole Western world, they're really the right wing of the left. So yeah, but anyway, Saturday Night Live has just been this lame, just propaganda, show for a long time. It pushes all the political correctness in all the mainstream narratives, and then the more left of all of those. And they stopped using improv comedians because they're too unpredictable and they go off script because that's their main talent. So they started using regular actors, and it's like the lamest, stupidest show. It's so bad they had to bring back Eddie Murphy, who he's got to be flying on all kinds of prescription meds at this point. It doesn't seem like the lights are all on upstairs, as we say. So I get into work today on Tuesday, and one of my coworkers here, she's like, she's extremely intuitive, and she's almost like one of my windows to the outside world. Because she'd be like, "Did you hear about something that happened?" And I'm like, "No, why? What is it?" And then she'll tell me about it, and I'm like, "Whoa, that's really interesting." But anytime she tells me about this stuff, it is very interesting and it is very important. So today she says, "Did you see?" She goes, "Did you see that guy's monologue on Saturday Night Live?" And I'm like, "Nah, I haven't watched that in 20 years." And she's like, she couldn't come up with the name Woody Harrelson. She goes, "She kind of looks like Owen Wilson, but a little different." And I was like, oh, "Let me get my phone." And the monologue was all about, he couldn't come out directly, but the monologue was all about the needlecraft and the drug pusher cartel. So I was like, holy shit, really? So I was astonished because I was like, they had Woody Harrelson on Saturday Night Live because Woody Harrelson, ever since Trump got into office, he's been very anti-establishment, and he's been very outspoken about what bullshit, the left versus right political game is. So I thought he was the last person they were ever going to have on SNL, on Saturday Night Live. So that's pretty shocking. I was like, holy shit. And I can't remember if it's NBC, CBS, ABC, which network um, Saturday Night Live is on. But it's one of the oldest major propaganda networks in America. They pretty much all are, but So anyway, I was shocked they had Woody Harrelson on there, and apparently he went off script because Saturday Night Live used to be fun because it was a bunch of improv comedians, and they'd have an idea of what they were gonna do. They would have a sketch lineup, but people just sort of did whatever the hell they wanted. So they had a script. He went off script, and he in his monologue basically was working to get a message out about this whole scamdemic and the needle craft and the drug cartels. So I want to read you this little quote from him. And just with the background, he was talking about, the last time I was here in New York, because they filmed the show in New York. He said the last time I was here in New York was 3 years ago, and I was in Central Park, and he talked about how he was going to smoke a joint. He was going to smoke some marijuana. And so that's how we got into the whole subject of drugs. So let me read you this quote here. So he said he sat down, he sat up against a tree in Central Park, and he was going to read a movie script that his agent gave to him. And here's the quote from Woody Harrelson. So the movie goes like this. The biggest drug cartels in the world get together and buy up all the media and all the politicians and force all the people in the world to stay locked in their homes. And people can only come out if they take the cartel's drug and keep taking them over and over. I threw the script away. I mean, who's going to believe that crazy idea? Being forced to do drugs? So this is on live TV. And to me, it's kind of shocking that the clip is still on YouTube. I'd say go in there and download it because it might not be available forever. But he did this very cleverly. He played the whole thing off like, oh, 3 years. I mean, he's probably in New York, a couple times a year because that whole Hollywood crowd likes to go to New York too. They all have houses there and friends there, and they go to parties. So he says, 3 years ago, I was in, and we're coming up. What? We're 2 weeks away from the 3-year anniversary of, March 13th, when the whole thing, when the Wuhan cooties pandemic emergency was announced, and shit was locked down. So so he said 3 years ago he was in New York, and I was just happened to be reading this movie script, and can you believe it's about this crazy idea that this drug cartel, this worldwide drug cartel, bought all the media outlets and the politicians and scared people and locked them in their homes and forced them to do drugs and continue to doing drugs so they could leave their houses. Can you believe such a thing? So he was very clever about it. I think this is very telling here. It's like I've been saying, we've already won. Okay? Even though, I think 2024 they're going to try some more. They're going to try a scamdemic again, and it's going to be an utter failure, because they have to keep the media facade looking fresh. So they got Dr. Bowtie, who is Fauci's replacement. What's his name? Peter Hotez or some shit. Just like really evil, vengeful, kind of nerd type dude. Hey, I'm a nerd, but I'm not evil and vengeful like that. Guy who's been, testing needlecraft, experimental needlecraft in the third world. So, yeah, they're going to try this again. It's going to be a bigger failure. So the thing is, we've already won. And Woody Harrelson's kind of a fun, hilarious loose cannon. He just may have decided to do that. As my friend pointed out, who brought this whole thing to my attention, Saturday Night Live is just probably so desperate because, nobody's watching it. It's completely lame. They're probably so desperate, they just wanted somebody who's releasing a new movie to come on there. And Woody Harrelson's, his new movie called Champions is going to be released soon. It's like a sports comedy. So they like to keep things current. So, when a new album's being released or a new movie's being released, they like to get the stars out there to host and to be the musical guests. Yeah, Jack White was a musical guest. I don't know if he's, releasing anything new, but probably. But I just thought Woody Harrelson would have been the last person they were going to get on there. And so this may have been, just an act of his own volition because, he's an artist. And I think he is a true artist. I don't think he's one of these like empty shell Hollywood people. I think he's actually has some of his own views and opinions. I think he's a real standout in that way in the Hollywood scene. So he may have decided that he was just going to take the opportunity and do this. Another possibility here too is that we're in the exact same place as the Soviet Union was in when it was collapsing. So when the Soviet Union was collapsing, even though money and effort was being put into propaganda, a very large percentage of the population could see through the propaganda. They knew how to decode it, they knew how to read between the lines. And then eventually, people within the Soviet media were putting out messages in very obvious coded language that segment of the population could read. So within the fake media, people were actually getting real news and real genuine commentary. So I think we're at that place. So this whole the USSA, the Union of Soviet Socialist America, it's falling apart, and their whole and the powers behind them, the drug cartel, the oil cartels, the tech cartels, the financial cartels, they're all falling apart. We've won. So I'm going to reinforce my usual message here. Just wait. Just wait for the thing to happen. Live your life, improve your quality of life as much as possible. Find new opportunities, seek new opportunities. Enjoy your hobbies, enjoy the people in your life. Just enjoy your quality of life. Don't run out there at this point and try to like inform the masses and be like a martyr hero, Promethean revealer. Because that is a huge fucking waste of time and energy. And, CIA, the whole intelligence service that coordinates the propaganda, they want you to do that. They want you to go out there and try to wake up the masses because your energy just gets pulled into that fucking nonsense. And it gets pulled into babble with people who are just completely out to lunch and totally blind. And they wouldn't see the truth if all their favorite politicians, be it, dementia Joe Biden, Barack stick up the ass Obama, Bill Clinton, or on the other side, Trumpy and George W. Jr. and I don't know, Richard Nixon rising from the grave. If all those people went on TV and told them exactly what had been going on for decades, they still wouldn't believe it. They would just be doing their, huh, 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 huh. They'd just be staring at the TV going, huh, huh, okay. Or when you try to like have an intelligent conversation, they just start going, huh, 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 just like start looking at shit to get distracted by it. They'd still do that. So don't let your ego lure you into trying to wake these people up because it's fucking futile. And being a martyr it's very narcissistic because it's a game we play. Yeah, I was like that years ago trying to wake people up, and it's like you can't fucking do that. And then you just get all resentful that they don't want to wake up and listen to you, and it's like, well, they don't want to fucking listen to anything. And most of the people you're trying to wake up are they're hopelessly under control of other people. It's like the best way to control people is to train them to have addictions. And it's like We get addictions galore in this world. Like I'm always saying, they got junk food, supersized coffee, alcohol. They're selling that shit on every street corner. Lottery tickets. Um, the marijuana legalization's gaining steam. I don't think drugs should be illegal, but I don't recommend doing them. It's a waste. It's a way for you to not have to, live your life and deal with your feelings. Um, Consumerism is a huge addiction. The news is a huge addiction. The whole tech thing, just being like stuck on a screen. That's an addiction. We're controlled by our addictions. That's the best way to control people and masses of people. So you're not going to wake these people up because most of them, the vast majority, are hopelessly under the control of their own addictions, thereby under the control of unseen hands that really don't have to do much to control them. They just have to float a little suggestion now and again. So yeah, don't try to wake people up. You're being a martyr. You're being narcissistic, and it's a waste of your energy. And it's exactly whatever you want to call it, the globalists, the hidden elite, the Illuminati. If you like to see them as comic book Satanists, you're doing exactly what you want them to do. So this whole thing is coming down. Just be there to, answer people's questions or to offer an opinion when asked for. That's the operative phrase here, when asked for. And just hold that space for the world, because your discernment and your ability to stand your ground will actually be contagious. So, yeah, I'm going to leave that at that. Go check out Woody Harrelson's monologue for yourself. But yeah, I'll read you his quote to end this video once more. So again, he's talking about being in Central Park 3 years ago, sitting under a tree, getting ready to read a movie script that his agent gave to him. And he says, so the movie goes like this. The biggest drug cartels in the world get together and buy up all the media and all the politicians and force all the people in the world to stay locked in their homes. And people can only come out if they take the cartel's drug and keep taking the drug over and over. I threw the script away. I mean, who's going to believe that crazy idea, being forced to do drugs? So, yeah. Pretty cool. I think this, when I talked about the new moon on the 20th, the new moon conjunct with Saturn on top of America's natal moon in Aquarius in the third house of mass media. When I talked about intuitive messages coming to the surface, it's like, well, here's one representation of that. They're going to keep coming. I think this whole Ukraine war narrative is going to just blow up in the media's face, the face of the politicians, and the face of the hidden, business cartels behind them. Just getting absurd. So, and now it's like the narrative is like increasingly turning into it's good. The World War III is going to be us versus the whole world, and it's like people are like, oh my god, it's just going to look like a bunch of fucking drama queen, just nonsense. So we've won. So just hang in there and don't contribute to the drama. Don't contribute to the panic. Panic is another addiction that people are absolutely enslaved by. So just wait.